Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's video, we're looking at BT7. We're going super in-depth. We're not doing any sort of deck profile or anything like that. We are doing a card by card of the entire set. I don't want to waste any more time because this is going to be kind of a long video, so I really just want to jump into it. Don't forget though, our memory marker for the month for Patreon is going to be Pokemon. This is Renamon's baby form. So if you're excited for some EX2 Sakuyamon decks, definitely going to be a great memory marker to pick up. Also, if you want any of our previous memory markers we've had on the channel, check the coffee link in the description below. There you can get access to all of our previous memory markers we've had on the channel. The benefit though of going through Patreon is you get the featured memory marker of the month for usually a much better deal. Also, right before we get started, a quick shout out to DigimonCard.dev. I don't thank these guys nearly enough in my videos, but this is like literally the best website out there for looking at Digimon cards. Literally, these guys are phenomenal. New card gets announced. They do incredible work to get them put onto their website as fast as possible for the community, and doing deck profiles and stuff is so much easier, especially before the cards even come out. You can get those deck profiles done, and even for players just wanting to get some testing done. So amazing. So thank you guys for that. All right, so we are going to break this down into color segments here. So we're going to go ahead and start off with red. And first up, we've got Kapurimon. While you have a Tamer in play, this Digimon gets plus 1,000 DP. So again, for those hybrid decks, this is going to be pretty solid of a choice. Also, if you're playing some sort of hybrid deck and you're going to use red as your baby, so that way you can use red options, you know, this is a pretty good bill for that. That's kind of, I've got a little tech that I'm working on with Gilmon. When you swing with Gilmon, you draw a card. You know, this gives him a little bit of extra DP since he's going to be the only red Digimon in the deck in a hybrid deck. So pretty generic card for hybrid focused decks. Really digging it. Next, we got a generic Toy Agumon, another 0 Evo, 2 play cost, 3,000 DP. Pretty standard stuff. Most of the time, these don't really matter. They're kind of like filler cards, so we won't really spend too much time. We've got tons of cards in the game already that are like this. Just this one happens to have Agumon in the name, so that could be relevant for other card effects. Next, we got Flamemon here. So new Flamemon hybrid. So on play, 3 play costs, pretty standard rookie. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon with hybrid in its form, Susanomon or Takuya among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So pretty nice searcher for hybrid decks, red hybrid decks. It's got a nice broad search ability, 4 cards. It's pretty solid. Unfortunately, it's not. I wish it said and Takuya. Like, get a hybrid or a Susanomon and a Takuya. Like that, make the Tamer the guaranteed, and then you got to choose one or the other. But this is basically a reveal 4, add 1. But it is nice and broad, so that's pretty cool. And then the inheritable here, play 1 Takuya from your hand without paying its memory cost for that on deletion. That's a pretty unique on deletion to be able to get to play a specific Tamer like that. I mean, it makes sense though, because you know he is Takuya there when Takuya gets turned into a Digimon. So that's pretty cool. Really a great addition for the red hybrids for sure. Next, we got Huckmon, so more Jessmon support with this set, which is probably why we didn't see that implementation of the ban list for the Savior until after this set has been out for a full length. So we'll get some full power Jessmon with a lot of stuff that we'll cover here. When attacking, once per turn, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Add all cards with Sistermon in their names among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is really nice. So because it's when attacking, you get to trigger your abilities, right? So Jessmon playing those Sistermons, if you don't have any in trash and you don't have any in hand yet, activate this first, reveal top 5, add all of them to hand. That's really cool too, because since it's we have new Sistermons, the Sistermon package is going to be a little bit bigger than it was in previous sets. So being able to add all of them at once is really nice. But also because of the order of operations, you can add one off of this Huckmon and then play that one you added with the Jessmon. So really nice that it works out like that. Next up, we've got Tuskmon here. So when Digivolving, one of your Digimon gets plus 2000 DP for the turn. Nothing really all that exciting. Red has a lot of effects that do stuff like this, and honestly, we've just never seen them do much of anything. So I really don't expect this to really stick around and have any sort of impact. Next, we got Burning Greymon, though. So a new hybrid. This is one of those 1-cost Evo onto a level 4, 3-cost onto a generic level 3, or you can go on top of a Tamer for a 2-cost. So 3 different Evolve cost. Going to be seeing a big trend of this in this video. But when Digivolving, if this Digimon's Digivolution cards has hybrid in its form or Takuya, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. 4,000 DP or less is pretty low compared to a lot of other stuff that we're going to see, especially if you saw my blockers are bad in BT7 video. Burning Greymon's like one of the only ones that doesn't get you around blockers, right? Granted, a lot of the other ones don't remove anything off the field most of the time. Most of them just kind of stun level 4s, typically blockers, but this doesn't, and that's kind of a shame. But it does remove a threat. So if there's a rookie out there, you'll be able to clear it. Even something like this. What's his name? Kumamon. He's 4,000 DP, and he's going to be a pretty popular blue level 4. So it will clear stuff like that. So there are targets out there. It's just a shame that this is like one of the few level 4 hybrids that's not going to be able to do anything to a blocker. But still, we'll see some play for sure in those red hybrid decks. Next, we got a new level 5 here in Brachiomon. This isn't really anything new. This is like basically Metal Tyrannomon. We've seen this 3 Evo 10,000 DP generic vanilla. Not going to be making any sort of waves there. Next, we got Metal Greymon, a new Metal Greymon. Of course, you got to have one in like every set, right? On play, if you have a Tamer in play, gain 2 memory. So you're going to reduce this play cost from a 7 down to a 5. That's pretty solid. Play cost of 5. So, I mean, that you're talking Vanilla's level of play cost there for a level 5 with an inheritable, which we'll get to. If you don't have a Tamer in play, though, you may play one red Tamer card from your hand without paying its memory cost. So that's pretty big. So a 4-cost option, so you're playing this 7-cost level 5 and essentially a 4-cost Tamer potentially. I mean, that's some pretty good value right there for sure. And then the inheritable, your turn once per turn when your opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain 1 memory. So you combine this with something like a Blitz, and you might be able to Blitz, keep it on your turn with that Blitz. So pretty nice combo potential there with that inheritable. But really though, being able to just hard play this for 5 and then have this nice inheritable when you Evo is pretty sweet. Also, the cover card with this alternate art is it's pretty dope alternate art. I'm not gonna lie there. Aldemon, though, we're going to do Aldemon as well for those hybrid decks. So 3-cost Evo on top of level 4, or if you have a Tamer in the Digivolution cards, you can reduce the Digivolution cost by 2. So making it a 1 Evo level 5. Every color, I think, except for black. I think just black doesn't get theirs this set, is getting one of these level 5. So 1-cost Evo level 5, so good. But when Digivolving, if this Digimon has a Digimon card with hybrid in its form, in its Digivolution cards, this Digimon gets plus 4,000 DP for the turn. So it turns him into a 12,000 DP Digimon, a level 5, 12,000 DP. That's pretty beastly. Can swing over some sort of like suspended mega or something like that. Yeah, I mean, say you've got like a memory fixer on field, you go 2 Evo cost into a level 4 hybrid, and you go 1 cost Evo into this Aldemon, right? Now you're at 0 memory, 12,000, swing over whatever big threat is out there. That's pretty solid. I mean, that's a pretty fair strategy for a red hybrid build. Definitely, if you're running red hybrids, he's going to be an include, I think, for sure. Also, though, this inheritable your turn while this Digimon has hybrid in form or 10 warriors in its type. Option cards checked by this Digimon do not activate in security. Oh my god. A built-in BT1 War Greymon inheritable or a delicate plan all in like an inheritable. So that is so good. That is so incredibly good for sure. Because how many times have you evoed into your mega, right? Your Jessmon. Now you're at 0 memory. You don't have enough to play a delicate plan to turn off those options. This guy, he's just like, yeah, let my hybrid Digivolve on top of me. I got him. you know, we don't need to worry about a delicate plan. I got you. So that's pretty awesome. And then we'll go ahead and look at this Emperor Greymon right quick. When Digivolving, Blitz. So that's pretty sweet. Your turn once per turn when this Digimon is blocked. Unsuspend this Digimon and gain 1 memory for each Digimon card with hybrid in its form in this Digimon's Digivolution cards. So basically that second part says, oh, if you try to block me, you know, you're SOL, because I'm just going to unsuspend and swing again. So basically it says I'm unblockable unless, you know, you really need to block me for whatever reason, but most of the time he's basically unblockable. But the when Digivolving Blitz is really nice because, like I was saying there, with so you start your turn at 3 memory, you go Evo into whatever hybrid, that's 2 memory. You Evo into the Aldemon for 1 memory. Now you're at 0. Then evolve into your Mega, right? With Blitz, and now he's swinging with the potential to unsuspend and gain back a whole bunch of memory off of that. So literally start your turn with nothing on field and 3 memory, nothing but a tamer and 3 memory, and you can go all the way up into this Emperor Greymon and attack with him. Whoa. I mean, that's pretty beastly. Also turning off all options in security, by the way. Then we skipped over, this is Avenge Kidmon. He's basically going to be your counter to Musketeers, and Musketeers are still being played in BT7, which it's a pretty popular deck. It's a pretty fun deck. Nothing like it in BT7 to replace it, so anyone that wants to stick with it, wants to stick with those BL Star Mons that are really pricey, you know, they want to keep getting some value that they spent on those, you know, they might keep playing them, and if they're at your locals and you're playing red, this is a pretty good include. So when playing this card from your hand, reduce its memory cost by 1 for each option card in you and your opponent's trashes. So again, in those decks with Musketeers, this is going to be incredible because you're going to basically reduce this down to almost nothing. So basically everything that makes BL Starmon good in their deck makes him good in your deck. But on play, return all cards with 3 Musketeers and their traits and all option cards from both players' trashes to the bottom of their owner's deck. If 7 or more cards were returned using this effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3 Musketeers and its traits, or 8,000 DP or less. Like literally just a hard counter to that whole thing. So it's like, especially mid to late game, 3 Musketeers starts wrecking. Okay, like you have to beat that deck before they get to mid to late game, because then they're just so set up that there's no way that they lose, basically, because they're just, I mean, it's really difficult for them to lose once they hit mid game. But then with this guy, it's like, okay, I'm playing red. Red's usually pretty aggro. I didn't kill him fast enough. They're about to start steamrolling me, or I'm going to slap down this one of Avenge Kidmon that I'm running in my red deck. I say in a red deck, you can realistically just tech this into any deck, like a one of in any deck. But I would probably only take it to a locals where you know that Musketeers are pretty popular and they do really well every week, and you have a good chance of facing them. I wouldn't take this into like any sort of big competitive tournament though, because I don't know if you're going to run into that many Musketeers or not. Next we got Chaos Dramon. So this is what the machine deck really needed with Machine Dramon. So they needed a secondary mega. It was a big debate what secondary mega to take in that deck. You're going to 100%, this is going to be your new secondary mega in that deck. Your Machine Dramon can Digivolve into this card in your hand for a memory cost of 1, ignoring its Digivolution requirements. When Digivolving, you may place 1 red or black level 5 Digimon card with Cyborg in its type from your hand or trash to the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards. Then for each level 5 with Cyborg in its type and this Digivolution's sources, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. Woof. Okay, so think about, you hard play those Machine Dramons, you put, 5 Cyborgs underneath them, and then Digivolve into this guy, put a 6th one underneath him. Dang. So you could potentially delete 6 Digimon on your opponent's side of the field for a 1-cost Evo. A 1-cost Evo. But even if you don't do the 1-cost Evo, you can still just level on top of a 5, or Evo on top of a 5, and then stick a Cyborg underneath in the inheritables there. So that's still going to be 2 pops of 6,000 DP. That's still really good. 6 is incredible, but 2 is still solid. I mean, that's going to be a very powerful ability for sure. So he's a great addition to that deck. Jump on down here, staying basically with the reds here. We're going to look at the Sistermons right quick, as they do coincide with red. On play, you may place one Sistermon block from your hand or trash to the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards to trigger to recovery 1. So that's pretty nice. On play recovery from your hand or trash. So you get some good recycling out of that. And remember, you can play these for free off of your Jesmon, which is always powerful. And then on deletion, return 1 card with Jesmon or Huckmon or Sistermon in its name, except Blanc Awaken from your trash to your hand. That's some really good recursion as well. Like a big problem with Jesmon is a lot of the decks don't really want to run a secondary Mega. They just want to do Jesmon. All their cards work with Jesmon. So if you ever lose a Jesmon, and you don't have a second one already in your hand ready to go, you're in a bit of a bind, okay? And that's where that deck a lot of times suffers. Of course, it's consistency, but also, again, you finally managed to draw into one Jesmon. It's really difficult sometimes to do that. You finally get there, and then you lose it, and now you're like, oh crap, how am I going to get a second one? Well, this is going to be a good way to do that. Recovery and recursion, very, very powerful. Noir and CL here, same Digimon, basically. So CL on play, you may place one CL from your hand or trash at the bottom of this Digivolution's cards to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less. So those 6,000 DP blockers, goodbye. Okay, so tons of level 4s and below, you're going to be clearing those off field. So that's really good. That's some really good like deletion effects. Granted, most of the time Jesmon doesn't have to worry about blockers because it's going to get the piercing when you play this for free. So I don't know if this seal's that worth it for that effect there. But on deletion, return 1 card with Jesmon, Huckmon, or Sistermon in its name other than CL Awaken from your trash. So same on deletion recursion effect. So again, I don't know if this CL is worth it. You could just run the Blanc Awakened for that recovery. And the regular Blancs are already like what you want to go with. I've said it in my most recent Jesmon deck profile, but consistency is key. And getting the draws off the Blanc is very powerful. So my Blanc ratio was 4, and my CL was only 2. I think it's a similar kind of issue here with the Awakened. I think the Blanc Awakened is much better than the CL Awakened. Jumping down into our red tamer, though, for the deck, we've got Takuya here. So security, play this card without playing its memory cost, like all tamers. But something new is we now have tamers with inheritables. Since we have all these hybrids now, we've had hybrids in the past, but never any tamers to go with them. Now we finally get the tamers that go specifically with hybrids. But once per turn, you may place 5 cards of hybrid in their form from your trash under this tamer in any order to digivolve this card into Emperor Greymon in your hand by paying its Digivolution cost as if this card was a level 5 red Digimon. So that's really cool. Really good for like mid game. So similar to how the Bonds decks would warp into their level 7s and then just like go ham on their opponent. Basically, you get to do that here as well, but instead of losing 2 of your own security in the process and the Digimon getting deleted at the end of the turn, which were massive drawbacks for those decks, this is, okay, it requires a little bit more setup, just a tiny bit more setup, and you don't have to hurt yourself, and you don't have to lose your Digimon at the end of the turn. So that's really cool. And then it says you're using your hybrids from your trash. So that's really interesting for this one here. I know that Analog Youth combos really nicely in these style decks where you can use your trash, your hybrids in your trash to do things like going into Susanomon, but also for the red hybrids as well. So that way Takuya can warp up into Emperor Greymon. So Analog Youth combo is really great with that. And then your turn, this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP, while this Digimon has 10,000 DP or more, this Digimon gains Security Attack plus 1. So 10,000 DP or more. Of course, Emperor Greymon's got that. But also, he is still just a tamer that you can Digivolve your regular hybrids on. What we talked about earlier with... let's go ahead and just move up to him so I don't mess this up. Back into red, Aldemon. We talked about Aldemon. So when you Digivolve into your hybrid and then go into him for 1 Evo, you're at 0 memory. Now he's up by 4,000, so he's at 12,000. You're over 10, so that Takuya inheritable, if he's underneath him, is going to be live to give you an extra security attack. So that's really cool that it can combo with the Aldemon. I mean, as it should, but that's just really neat that it does that. So very cool that Takuya combos so greatly. Like really good game design, I think, for sure. For our reds, we got a new memory boost here. I think this one's pretty good. Main, one of your Digimon gains security attack +1 for the turn, and then you get a delay 2. Three memory costs for a security attack +1 is pretty high. We're gonna see, other things give security attack +1 for cheaper. We've seen it in the past, but you gain the delay gain 2, which is pretty cool. But anytime you get security attack +1, I think is a pretty good thing to just kind of keep an eye on, especially when we get into like Mother D Reaper and what is it? Is it the Gatekeeper? I think that minus security attack on all your opponent's Digimon. So if without security attack +2, you can't do any damage. So yeah, just cards that can help get around that in the future is just something to keep an eye on. Next, we got Fire Drake Strike, and this is Emperor Greymon's signature move here. Main, choose one of your Digimon with hybrid in its form. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to the chosen Digimon's DP. It's okay. I mean, 4 play cost is pretty cheap for some removal, but it's got to be choose one of your Digimon with hybrid in its form. So it's got to be something with some pretty beastly DP. Maybe that that turn with the Aldemon, where he's at 12,000 right before he shrinks down. Like play this to pass your turn. Could be a pretty good move there. But again, I don't know. It doesn't really stand out to me too much. But then security, you may play one Takuya from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. That's a pretty good security effect. It's just doesn't coincide with each other. It's a little bit in an awkward situation. It's a cool card. I just don't know if it's going to see a lot of use or not. Now we got Gigastorm. Now this card's cool. So 7 cost option, delete up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less. So it's very similar to the other one that you add up Digimon's DP up to 8,000 and delete them. So you could potentially get like 8 1,000 DP Digimon with it. But most of the time, it just came out to you were deleting 2 Digimon. Most of the time, that's how it worked. Every once in a while, you get 3. But delete 2 at 8,000 DP would be really, really powerful, because then you're deleting like 2 level 5s. 2 level 5s at once. That's a big deal. Being able to do that. Like 2 Beowulf Mons with 1 pop, that's really powerful. And then security activate this card's main effect. This card's going to, any sort of security control deck that's playing like red options, I think this is going to be a great include for those. We've seen some spicy yellow decks, I believe, that were running stuff like that. All right, now we're going to jump on to blue here. First up, we got Bukamon, and this is our new blue egg here. Your turn, once per turn, when you play a Digimon from your Digimon's Digivolution cards, gain 1 memory. That's a really weird effect. We've seen a lot of blue cards in the past, like Metal Garurumon, that would bounce out, like level 4s out from underneath it. Level 4s and level 3s. So like this could work with that if you want to play that. I mean, that'd be a really weird include, but really it's for like these Waymon here that we're about to get into. That's where it really combos. But first up, we got the new Gomamon with some adorable artwork. I love his fishes. Like those, they all look so good, so unique, each one of them. But on play, you may when played from Digivolution cards, draw 2. So again, really coinciding with those kind of abilities. Also, I want to show this artwork. That artwork is also super great. Like, look how crisp that looks. It looks so good. Now we got Strabimon, another Strabimon. What is this, our 3rd Strabimon now? On play, reveal top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with hybrid in its traits. Susanomon or Koji among them to your hand. Place remaining cards on the bottom of your deck. So just like the other one that we saw, the Flamemon, this is basically the same thing, but for blue, for Koji. Also, it's just a really good card for generic hybrid decks. Just on play, reveal 4, add a hybrid. So that's going to include all your other Strabimons. Also being able to add a Susanomon. Susanomon, did take a hit with the Mega Digimon Fusion getting banned. So it's not going to be necessarily the boss monster anymore of a lot of blue decks. I think it'll still be in those. I think they're just going to have to work in some more Megas. I've said it in several videos so far. But yeah, being able to, add the Susanomon as well is really cool. So blue has a lot of on-play hybrid searchers between the two Strabimons that they've got. Yeah, they're in a good position. Also on deletion, you can play a Koji from your hand. So very similar to Flamemon. Next, we've got a vanilla level 4, 2 Evo cost for a 6,000 DP. That's not anything special. I mean, you can get the same thing for a Gorillamon for 1 cost Evo. It's just this 4 play cost is really all it is. That's how it kind of evens out there. I don't think it's going to do anything special, though. Next, though, we got Kumamon, the first of the terrifying blue Digimon. You may Digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your blue Tamers, as if that Tamer is a level 3 blue Digimon. When Digivolving, trash 1 Digivolution card from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. So blue is all about Digivolving, getting rid of their blue hybrid, I should say, is all about Digivolving, getting rid of Digivolution sources, and anything without Digivolution sources can't attack or block. Okay, so we're going to see a whole lot of effects that all kind of coincide with that. So that's what Kumamon does. And then let's go ahead and jump over here to this Korikakumon. This is the other blue hybrid that's going to be super popular. So 1 cost Evo on top of a level 4. If you need to, there are times when it does come up and you have to be in those situations, like you need a draw or something like that. Or 3 cost Evo on top of a regular rookie, which is not ideal at all. But on top of a Tamer for a 2 Evo cost. That's where you're looking at. When Digivolving, if a card with hybrid in its trait or Tommy is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't attack or block until the end of their next turn. So like we were talking about, and then we'll get to it, but Tommy's effect basically is on play. It's like you reveal or you trash the bottom 2 or bottom 3 Digivolution sources of something, so you can go like hard play the Tommy and then go Korikakumon on top of the Tommy and then stun whatever it was that you trash the sources of. Next we got Kendo Garurumon, a new Kendo Garurumon. Same Evo stats there, and then the 2 Evo on top of a Tamer. But when Digivolving, if a card of hybrid in its trait or Koji is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, this Digimon gains jamming for the turn. So that's kind of interesting. Not bad. I'm sure it'll get worked into a lot of decks. I think it's the weaker of the blue hybrids, but I think there's still some argument for it for sure. Mainly, you got to be able to get some stuns going though, because if you get blocked, then that jamming's not going to do you any good. Now we got our level 5 here. We got Daipinmon. That's a name. I don't know. I don't really get the context of it. When Digivolving, for each Digimon your opponent has with no Digivolution cards, draw 1. Opponent's turn, while a card with hybrid in its trait is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, none of your opponent's level 3 Digimon can attack. Wow. Okay. So, really, really punishing Rookie Rush. I don't think Rookie Rush is really going to be much of a thing by BT7. It's really died off in BT6 and EX1 as it is. So I don't think we're going to see really any of it by BT7. Even those that have been like kind of sticking to it for like D Brigade, I think even they will fall off by the time BT7 comes around. So cool card. I think it's just a little bit too late. Next, we got Beowulfmon. This is going to be the more popular of the level 5s for sure. So this is another one of those. If it has a Tamer in the Digivolution cards, you can reduce the Digivolution cost by 2. So makes it a 1 cost Evo level 5, which is absurd. I'm going to say that probably every time, but that's so crazy. 1 cost Evo level 5. When attacking, you may return 1 Digimon with hybrid in its form from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to your hand to return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to its owner's hands. So any hybrid, so you can bounce like a level 3 hybrid to your hand off this guy and bounce any level 4 from your opponent's field to their hand. So that's pretty nice. We'll also see some stuff with Koji later, but Koji's inheritable is when you bounce a card to your hand, you can gain a memory. So pretty nice combos there. Works really great with the Beowulfmon. Jumping down here to the Aware Garurumon, that artwork is so blurry. I don't know if it's just the picture or if he's actually going to be that blurry. I hope not, though. On play, this is kind of the same thing as that Metal Greymon we saw before, but if you have a Tamer in play, gain 2 memory, so basically makes him 5 play cost. If you don't have one, you can play a Blue Tamer for free. Inherited effect, your turn, once per turn. When this Digimon is unsuspended during the main phase, gain 1 memory. So, again, with the old Metal Garurumon playing out the level 4 Garurumon to unsuspend it, that worked pretty well. Pretty nasty combos back in the day. I don't know if we'll see any play with it soon, but I think he's still a good card. He's going to be a good tech card that can fit into a lot of those tribal Garurumon style decks. Now we got Waymon. This is going to be the first one. On play, you may play 1 level 3 Digimon card from one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards as another Digimon. So again, playing those out for free. Now it is an on-play effect, which you might think that might not be the best. If you do, you may place 1 blue Digimon card from your hand at the bottom of one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards. So this one, the one you played, whatever. By himself, I don't think you're going to play an 8 cost level 5 just to play one out for free. But then when you combine it with the King Waymon here, when attacking, you may play 1 level 3 Digimon card or 1 Waymon from this Digimon's Digivolution cards as another Digimon without paying its memory cost. So the idea is to have Digivolve all the way up into this guy, swing with this guy. He's going to then play out the Waymon that's underneath him. I say inside because basically they swallow each other. So it plays out that one, and then that one uses his on-play effect to play out another Digimon, like the Gomamon that we saw earlier. Also, your turn, when you play a Digimon from one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards, return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon card to its owner's hands. Trash all the other Digivolution cards of that Digimon. So, some more of some level 4 hate, or some the level 4 blockers. Just kind of writes them off. Also, basically hits hybrids pretty hard too. So pretty awesome card. Now we got Magna Garurumon. When Digivolving, when attacking, once per turn, you may return one of your Digimon card with hybrid in its form from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to your hand to return one of your opponent's Digimon with the same level as that card to its owner's hand. So yeah, you when Digivolving and then you attack with it, so essentially you can get 2 bounces. So you return a level 5 and a level 4 to hand, or if you warp Digivolve into him using the Koji, which we'll get to, that's going to give you 5 hybrids to work with as inheritables on him. So that's when Digivolving and when attacking, that's going to take 2, and then you got 3 more turns of bounces for when attacking ability. So that's really good. Your turn, once per turn, when your hand is increased by an effect, unsuspend one of your Digimon. 4 Evo costs might seem like a lot, but remember, when you return a card to hand with Koji, you gain a memory as an inheritable. So as soon as you trigger this when Digivolving to bounce a card, you go from 4, basically he becomes a 3 Evo cost. So way more manageable for sure. Very, very, very good card. I think he's going to see a lot more play. Some people are saying that Magna Garurumon is terrible and just the other hybrids are better. I think the other hybrids are really good when all they had to do was stun the opponent until they had enough in trash to go into Susanomon for free with Mega Digimon Fusion. Without Mega Digimon Fusion, I don't think that's going to be necessarily the way to go anymore. And I think having other Megas in the deck is going to be a little bit more important. So Magna Garurumon is a very cool include. Next, we got Ancient Megatheriumon. When Digivolving, for each card with hybrid and its trait in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, trash one Digivolution card from the bottom of each of your opponent's Digimon. That's really powerful. So if you've all the way up into this guy, you've got 3, 4, 5. So trash 3 Digivolution sources from all of your opponent's Digimon. Ooh, that's rough. And then for each Digimon your opponent has with no Digivolution cards, draw 2. Okay, so you could potentially draw, however many cards, tons of cards off of that. That's very, very powerful. On deletion, you may play a hybrid for free. An interesting card. I don't know. I don't think it does enough, honestly. Like, yeah, you're going to trash a ton of sources. Absolutely. But the only benefit is you get a draw. Like, okay, I get to draw a bunch of cards for this massive 5 Evo cost. Like, it doesn't get reduced. The Evo cost doesn't get reduced like a Zulongmon. I don't get any more damage output. I don't even get to stun any of those cards. I don't think it does enough. Like, if I'm already getting up into my mega, I'm doing pretty good. I'm not really worried about getting draws if I'm already hitting my mega. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, we're not jumping into yellow yet. Now we're going to go take a look at our tamers down here. We got Tommy up first. Security, play this Digimon. Play this card without paying its memory cost. On play, trash the bottom 3 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. Yeah, so it was 3. So pretty nasty combos like we talked about. And then when attacking, once per turn, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. So what we're talking about, trashing Digivolution sources with all these different methods, and then Digivolving and stunning, or attacking and stunning with the Tommy Inheritable. Like, some really awesome stuff going on there. Next we got Koji. Koji is similar to Kuya there. So again, we got the inheritables here. Main, once per turn, you may place 5 cards with hybrid in their form from your hand under this Digimon, under this tamer, in any order to digivolve into a Magna Garurumon in your hand. So this is kind of interesting. It's a little bit different from Takuya. Takuya was take all the ones in your trash and warp. Koji, they have to be in your hand. Normally, you would think, that's not so good. You know, the Takuya definitely seems better. But think about all those blue cards we talked about, that like the Beowulfmon and the Magna Garurumon, that bounce cards back to the hand. So as long as you're bouncing your hybrids and your resources back to hand, this actually isn't as bad as you think it is. So in the context of running the correct cards in the deck, the Evo lines, the correct Evo lines, I think you're going to be totally fine on that. So really cool. You just don't get the benefit of the analog youth with him is the only drawback. Next we got Blue Hawaii Death. Main, 2-play cost, main for the turn, one of your Digimon gets plus 3,000 DP for the turn, and also can't attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with no Digivolution cards. That's interesting. So again, you're trashing all those sources. Now you can attack those unsuspended Digimon. I don't think that's what you want to do. You're just stunning them anyway. So do you really care if you're attacking them? I don't think so. I don't think this card's very good. Now we got Starlight Velocity. What an awesome name. Main, you may play 1 Tamer card or 1 Digimon card with hybrid in its trait from one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards as a Tamer or another Digimon without paying its memory cost. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if we'll see any kind of real use out of it, but it's kind of interesting. In security, play 1 Koji from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. So similar to the red one we saw, the Flame Drake Strike security effect. Again, they don't have anything to do with the main effect. It's just a very odd choice. I don't think we're going to see much play out of that either, unfortunately. Now we've got this 7-cost Tidal Wave. That's a massive option cost for blue. Choose up to 2 of your Digimon cards in the Digivolution cards of one of your Digimon and play them as another Digimon without paying their memory cost. I mean, that's kind of cool if you can get, like the Waymon off, you get a Waymon out, and then, other things. You could really like a wave. I mean, it could be one after another. So you play the Waymon for free, and then the Waymon plays another one for free, and it really just kind of spirals out of control like that. So it's pretty neat. So I guess in the right context, that could be actually pretty awesome. But it requires some substantial setup. Going into yellow now. Yeah, this video is insanely long. Your turn, when this card is trashed due to activity, Digiburst, you return it to its hand. So yellow gets theirs as well now in the form of Harrismon. It's kind of a waste of Harrismon, I think. I think they could have definitely done something cooler with him since he's kind of a fairly popular Digimon. Now we got a new Pulsemon. What is our 3rd Pulsemon now? That's pretty surprising too. He's pretty popular, I guess. Inheritable when attacking once per turn. If you have 3 security cards, gain 2 memory. Very, very powerful. So just like his baby form that we have for him, he's going to gain memories. But you got to be at that 3. You have to be at 3. I mean, the ton of Pulsemon effects that rely on being at exactly 3 security. But wow, are they good? They are very, very good. I did skip over the baby though. We got Pasurimon here, and your turn, when this Digimon, when this card is trashed due to activating the Digiburst, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1,000 DP for the turn. So kind of interesting. This would have been a really, really nice include back during Lord Nightmon with what was it, War Growlmon, doing Digiburst to lower it by 4,000, this by another 1,000. Like, that would have been a really spicy combo back then. I don't know if we'll see any play now, just because there's not really a whole lot of Digibursting going on. And then without being able to combine it with other DP minusing. I don't think there's enough DP minusing in what's going on with yellow at this point. Then we got Bulkmon here to go with that Pulsemon with the inheritable opponent's turn while you have 3 or more security. That's nice at least. This Digimon gains blocker. So that's kind of an interesting thing for yellow, giving the blocker inheritable. Then we got Philmon here. This is Harrismon's Evo. Digiburst 2, so it makes sense that, Harrismon gets added back to hand. One of your opponent's Digimon gains security attack -2. I don't know. It's not the best. It makes sense. It combos with the Harrismon and the baby that goes with it. But again, I don't think it's anything too crazy there. We've got other things I think that just are all around better. Now we're getting to the hybrid package. This is just a generic hybrid for yellow. So yellow's going to have a generic hybrid now in the form of Kazimon. And kind of crazy though that blue they've already had multiple hybrids, and then they get all these new level 4s with abilities like Kumamon. Like, dang, okay, so then poor yellow doesn't. I say poor yellow. It's still it's still really, really powerful, even without a third hybrid choice. So they get their generic, and then we get Zephyrmon here. So that 1 cost Evo on a level 4. This whole Evo chain here, 2 on top of a tamer. But when Digivolving, if a card of hybrid and its trait or Zoe is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, all of your security Digimon get plus 3,000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. So yeah, that's okay. It's not really what your goal is in yellow for hybrids. It's just a nice secondary effect. It's just another 2 cost Evo hybrid is what you're looking at here. And we'll jump over here into this Zephyrmon or Jet Sylphimon, sorry, that goes with it. This is going to be basically your 1 cost Evo level 5, like we've talked about on the others. Then, when Digivolving, if a card of hybrid and its trait is in this Digivolving Digivolution cards, which it should be, if you're playing the deck, a hybrid deck, recovery +1. Recovery +1 with no real stipulation, no real drawback. Not like you have to be at 3 or less to get that recovery. No, it's just, you just get it. As long as there's a hybrid, you're good. So, yeah, that's really, really powerful, for sure. Jumping back over here to Boutmon here. 3 cost Evo level 5. Opponent's turn. When your opponent's Digimon attacks the player, if you have 3 or more security, unsuspend this Digimon. That's kind of interesting. What's really, really nice about that, though, if you combine that with the Bulkmon, right? So gaining blocker as an inheritable, and then the Boutmon being able to unsuspend. So as long as you got a Mega on field with these 2 inheritables, you can perpetually just unsuspend. It's not once per turn, so you can just have an infinite line of blockers. That's pretty cool. You have to be at what is it, 3 or more on both, I think. Yeah, so as long as you get into this guy before you take too much damage into your Mega, you have an infinite blocker. Okay, all right, that's cool. I don't mind it so much anymore. That's pretty sweet. Next up, and then what was the Pulsemon? When attacking. Okay, so not really used for defense, but still pretty cool. Next we got Stefilmon. When Digivolving, if this Digimon has only 1 Digivolution card, you may place up to 2 yellow level 4 or lower Digimon in your hand at the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, then trigger draw 1. Okay, that's a lot for just a single draw. But and only 1 Digivolution source, so you may place up to 2 level 4. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the point of this. You have to hard play level 4 and then Digivolve this guy on top of that. That doesn't sound very good. Let's see how this inheritable it is, though. Your turn, when this card is trashed due to activating a Digiburst, one of your Digimon gains security attack +1. Okay. We need some really good Digibursting yellow level or Megas, which so far we've never had any. But, if we do, giving it security attack +1 is pretty nice. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Rasenmon here with, oh, look, Digiburst. When Digivolving into this card from your hand, the memory cost of this Digivolution card or Digivolution is equal to the number of cards in your security stack. If you have 0, the memory cost is 1. But if you have, if you go into it early, this is brutal, 5 Evo cost. But main, once per turn, Digiburst up to 4, so you get a pick, and it's once per turn, and you can do it every turn. Trash up to 4 to one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for the turn. I mean, that's pretty cool. You can kill a bunch of things, similar to like a what's his name, Shine Greymon. So he's basically like Shine Greymon up to 4. So that's pretty cool. Pretty interesting card for sure. Now we got Kazuchimon. All right, this is the one that goes with the Boutmon and Bulkmon. When Digivolving, if you have 3 or more security cards, of course, gain 2 memory, so you can reduce the Evo cost. So again, if you get into this guy early, then it really, really matters. So getting up into him early before you take a bunch of damage basically makes him a 3 Evo cost. If you have 2 or fewer security cards, though, you may recovery 1 until there are 3 cards in your security stack. So even in late game, he might be more expensive late game, but you can get a ton of recovery. I mean, if you're at 0 security, you can go all the way back up to 3 for 5. Yeah, absolutely. I'll pay that every day of the week. 5 Evo cost to gain 3 recovery 3. Woof. Your turn, while you have 3 or more security cards, which you should, if you're Digivolving into him, you should recover. This Digimon gains security attack +1. So that's pretty cool. It'd be a super, super defensive card. I'm surprised we've never seen really much play with him. I think he's got some really cool text going on for sure there. Also, he has a really, really sick alt art. Like, dang, that's so cool. Next, we got Ancient Kazimon here to go with your hybrids. While this card has hybrid in its form and is in the Digivolutions cards, all of your security Digimon get plus 4,000 CP. Not going to matter. In a hybrid deck, especially yellow, the idea is to add your hybrid Digimon from your security to your hand and fill your security with tamers. So a lot of these, like increasing the DP, just doesn't matter. Or put option cards in your security if you're going to go for like a yellow recovery security control type of strategy. So Ancient Kazimon, just not very good. And then on deletion, you to play a free hybrid. So not too exciting there for the big mega. At least Blue's hybrid mega was actually kind of useful in the right kind of deck, but Ancient Kazimon is not at all. Security, play it for free. On play, you may search your security stack for 1 card with hybrid or 10 warriors in its trait, reveal it and add it to your hand, then recovery +1. That's pretty cool. So basically, you're getting another form of Izzy, but it's more tailored towards a hybrid deck, which if you're running Zoe, you're probably running a hybrid deck, so it just makes sense. So you should have plenty of targets to be able to add off of the Zoe. Also, it's not mandatory, so if you don't have anything, you don't have to still take it, right? Like, that's one of the worst things about Izzy, TK is, if there's no yellows, you still have to take something, and if it's not a yellow, you don't get the recovery. Like, that'll always hurt so bad. And then the inheritable opponent's turn, all of your security Digimon get +3s on DP. Again, doesn't really matter adding DP to your security Digimon all that much. Especially if you're playing hard playing her, you're going to be pulling those tamers out. So, or not, you're going to be pulling the hybrids out. So even less chance of having Digimon in your security. So kind of a weird choice that they went with the yellows. Even though yellow is still incredibly good and we still see it a ton, some of it just didn't make a whole lot of sense. Next, we got our option card, 2-cost option, Ultra Turbulence. Main, one of your opponent's Digimon and all of your opponent's security Digimon get minus 3,000 DP for the turn. That's pretty interesting. I mean, it's not like overly crazy, but if you're going to do like a big swing with a bunch of hybrids that are pretty low in DP, this might be a interesting card to play. And then security just get added to your hand. I probably won't see any play, but I mean, it's kind of interesting, I guess. Next we got Electric Rush, 2-play cost. Main, one of your Digimon gets plus 3,000 DP for the turn. Then if you have 3 security cards, of course, because it's Pulsemon, unsuspend one of your Digimon. So 3 or 2-play cost to unsuspend, I think is what you're really looking for on that one. Yellow is just never worried about getting big DP stacks. It's just not Yellow's strategy. Now we got our level 5 or 5-play cost option card here. When using this card from your hand, its memory cost is equal to the number of cards in your security stack. Okay, so just like the Rasenmon that we saw, main, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for the turn. Then one of your Rasenmon gains security attack +1 for the turn. Okay, so I mean, that's kind of neat. Really good, like Hail Mary kind of thing. Like you're down to like, you know, one or zero security. This guy becomes super cheap. One of your Digimon gets plus 3,000 DP, so you're gonna swing with that big Rasenmon with security attack +1. So okay, that's kind of interesting. Again, I don't know if it'll see a lot of play, but it's something to look at. That's going to do it for yellow. Next up, we got green here. We got Koromon. When attacking, reveal the top card of your deck and place it at the top or bottom of the deck. So you just kind of look at it. All right, yeah, I want to draw into that next. Or, oh, that's terrible. I don't need that right now. Put that to the bottom. Get me something else. So it's kind of an interesting one for sure. Now we got our Gatsumon here. On play, you may reveal one green Digimon card from your hand. If you do, place it at the top of your deck. I have no clue what this is supposed to be useful for. Also, I do love that Pumpkinmon is hanging out in the background because these guys are buds in the anime, so that is super cool that they are in artwork together. But yeah, I have no clue like what you're supposed to do with that. If you know what to do with this Gatsumon that's like really interesting, definitely put it in the comments because I'm at a loss. Next, we got Betamon. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add one green level 4 Digimon card or one green Tamer card among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in order. I think this is really good. Honestly, like generic. Like this is so generic search. A lot of the like specific search cards we have are tailored to their specific decks, like only searching hybrids or, you know, only searching Huckmons and Sistermons and things like that. You know what I mean? This is just like anything green. You're good. That's really good. He's going to fit into a lot of green decks. A lot of green decks are going to be running him. Probably might be one of those like staple green rookies moving forward. Honestly, he's a very, very good card. Like not even really talked about. Also, he's a rare, so that's going to come in holographic. I'm excited about that. A staple card that's going to be useful in a lot of decks. Having a holographic print is also nice. Also, he does have an alt art as well. That's pretty interesting. That color scheme is pretty wild. Reminds me of the 1.0 dash packs with that Agumon and Gabumon. That from way back when. Pretty interesting. For our level 4s here, we got a 2-cost 4 play cost. Inheritable. When attacking, you may reveal one green Digimon card from your hand and place it at the top of your deck to give this Digimon 3,000 DP. I don't think it's going to be very useful. Honestly, I don't think giving up hand resources and like putting them back to the deck, this is just not what you want to do. I mean, it's okay late game when your hand size is massive, but even early to mid game, like you do not want to have this card in your Evo line at all. Now we got our hybrids though. This is where it really starts to kick off. You may digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your green tamers as if that green tamer is level 3. So he's just generic hybrid. When digivolving, reveal 5 cards from the top of your deck. Add one Digimon card of hybrid in its form and one JP among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck. So good, just generic searcher. Well, not generic. For the deck though, he's gonna be super useful for green decks. Definitely gonna be a very like must-have card. Like early game, getting extra hand resources, he's gonna be great for that. So nice 2-cost Evo. Like he's sort of generic, but since they've already had generic hybrids, now they get their another 2 Evo cost with an ability. And I think that's what's really great about green is that both of their hybrids have when digivolving abilities. So. Now we got the Kabu or Metal Kabuterimon here, so we get that special Evo of 1 or 3 or 2 on top of a Tamer. When digivolving, if a card with hybrid in its trait or JP is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. So suspend basically any of those level 4 blockers, get them out of your way. Now you can start swinging for security or swinging over other things. It says 6,000 DP or less, so with that 6,000 DP, and if you have JP with piercing, you know, you can suspend like say like a memory blocker, right? That's preventing you from using like Bokumon to gain memory on these hybrid Evos. So suspend that memory blocker and then swing over it with your piercing. So really neat, versatile card for sure. Got a new vanilla here in Monochromon. Not doing any sort of blocking here. 2 evo costs for an 8,000 DP. I think this is the second one we've had in the game. Yellow had theirs. Well, I forget the name. It was like the golden monkey on the cloud. Basically, was Goku. Yeah. So Monkey King guy. So yeah, he's basically like that. So pretty interesting. I don't know if we'll see a lot of use out of them. I don't think those guys are necessarily all that great unless you're going for like a rookie rush style strategy, and then they're kind of an interesting tech in a rookie rush style deck. Next we got a new level 5 in Mommy Tyramon. Very interesting. 3 evo cost, level 5 here. When attacking, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may digivolve this Digimon into 1 green level 6 Digimon card among them without paying its memory costs. So we've already had this before. We're just getting a different one that can do it. So now you can really like double down on your level 5s that can have this this trick here. So that's kind of interesting that they made another one. I didn't think the first one got used all that much. So we'll see. Maybe it'll get a little bit more use now that you can have so many of them. We got a 2 cost Evo level 5 here, vanilla. Nothing really all that. Just different stats, different play cost, and then different DP overall. I think is all really only valuable note of importance there. Then we got Rhino Kabuterimon here. So you're gonna be your 1 cost Evo. Level 5 for green that we've already discussed for the other ones. When attacking, if a card with hybrid or insectoid is in its traits is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, this Digimon can digivolve into a Digimon card with insectoid or 10 warrior types in its traits in your hand for a memory cost of 3. So basically, say you're at 0 memory from going into this guy. So 2 evo cost into your level 4 on top of your tamer, and 1 evo cost into this guy. Attack, activate his ability, go up into a mega that essentially is now blitzing, if you want to look at it like that, because the attack will still go through, even if the memory goes past the threshold there, the attack will still go through. And then the idea is to go into like the Ancient Beetlemon here, right? Which works into the deck because he's got the 10 Warriors tag here. So a lot of the stuff, the search cards and stuff work with 10 warriors. Ancient Beetlemon fits in that classification because he is not a hybrid. As we found out, a lot of the ancients, or I think all of the ancients, none of them have the hybrid tag, but they are 10 warriors. But your turn, once per turn, when one of your Digimon with 10 warriors, this guy, in its type or hybrid in its form, deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. It is once per turn, but kind of interesting. So, another, like the metal Kabuterimon, right? He swings over someone that he suspends and, does piercing with like JP or something. You're going to be able to trigger this, which is really cool. So, just some spicy little things that you can do in this deck is pretty awesome. And then on deletion, you get to play a tamer for free. So he's like one of the only ancient 10 warriors that actually gets played in their hybrid deck, which is kind of sad, but at least someone gets use out of theirs. Jumping back over here though, we got Saber Leomon, and when digivolving, this Digimon gets plus 5,000 DP for the turn, so whopping 15,000 DP on this level 6, and then on deletion, gain 2 memory. Of course, you get 2 memory on deleting a Leomon. I mean, why wouldn't you? But 3 evo cost. So for the turn, you're going to get this big skull crushing 5,000 DP. I don't see it getting any sort of real play, but it is a neat card, I think, in general. All right, and I'm back. Memory card filled up on me. So Dino Rexamon is our next card here. When digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. That Digimon doesn't unsuspend during their next unsuspend phase. Okay, we've seen tons of cards that do that already for green. 4 evo cost is kind of steep though. Your turn, this Digimon gets plus 1,000 DP for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon. He's already at 12,000 DP, so I really don't think you need even more DP. He's a really expensive evo cost for how little he does. I think there's just better options for megas by far for green. Next up we got Eben Wumon. I think this card is really underrated. He's pretty sweet. When digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then gain 1 memory for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon, so you can reduce the evo cost of this guy tremendously, essentially, because you're going to gain that memory back, and even then you could even potentially potentially you could even plus off of this guy and gain memory by digivolving into him potentially. Opponent's turn. All of your opponent's Digimon gain your turn. You must trash one card in your hand to unsuspend this Digimon. So that whole field of suspended Digimon, yeah, if they want to start unsuspending all those guys, that's a tremendous amount of hand resources they have to discard. Yeah, this guy is, like I said, I think he's very underrated. 13,000 DP, and he's no slouch either. He's a big boy. And being able to essentially make his Evo cost less, I think that's what makes these 5 Evo cost types like this really, really impactful, is when you can like make the memory cost go away a little bit. Makes it a little bit more worthwhile. Jumping down here into our tamers. First up, we got JP. For the most part, when this tamer devolves into a green Digimon, the Digivolution cost is reduced by 1. That's huge. It makes your when this tamer, so all of your level 4s that go on top of him cost 1 less. So all your level 4s cost 1 Evo. Oh my god, that's so good. Just whoa. I mean, green's always had really efficient evolving, like more than any other color, and this just like is a testament to how good that is. So even more so on those strategies we talked about earlier, you can go 1 cost into a level 4, 1 cost into a level 5, and then go into, you know, whatever mega you want after that. Yeah, just so good. And it also gives piercing as an inheritable. Oh my god. Like this is like the dream card for green. Like reducing the Evo cost, and as well as giving piercing essentially on a rookie. Giving just a blanket generic piercing inheritable on a rookie is basically what JP is. And oh my god, that is so good. What an outstanding card. He's like really what makes green on a whole nother level for their hybrids. For our options here, also I think it's really cool that these guys are like paired next to each other. Like they're super similar, even though they have nothing to do with each other. But we got Thunder Laser, 1 Evo or 1 play cost. Main, if you have a Digimon with hybrid or 10 warriors in its trait in play, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So when you have like the piercing and stuff like that, you know, this card isn't that bad. I think it might get used a little bit. 1 play cost is not terrible, you know, but security, add this card to the hand. That's what draws it back for me, is that you could still just rather run like Needle Spray or Flower Cannon. Like Needle Spray being able to not only do this for two play cost, not only 1 more, not terrible, 1 more play cost, suspend something, and then have the security effect of add to hand, but also suspend something. Like, yeah, I think Needle Spray is just still slightly better. It's still slightly better. Real shame. And then next we got Dino Memory Boost, which is a pretty neat card. Another Memory Boost card out there. But main, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then place this card in your battle area. So again, you're suspending one of your own stuff, but then you get a delay gain too. 3 play cost. I'm not too impressed. I think there's just better cards. If you're wanting to suspend something, play Needle Spray. Next we got Mugen here. 4 play cost main, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. 4 play cost is just to suspend one of my opponent's Digimon. Oh my god. That Digimon doesn't unsuspend during your opponent's next unsuspend phase. I mean, that's kind of cool. That's like basically a 2-turn stun. So I mean, that's kind of neat. But 4 play cost for that, maybe 3. You could argue it for 3. That it is nice though. Security effects suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So it is nice that we at least get a correct. I say correct, but yeah, a correct security effect for these suspending cards. But I still think 3. I think a 3 play cost might have been a little bit more reasonable than 4. 4 makes it almost unplayable. All right, next up we got black here. First up we got Doraemon. This is where we see the beginnings of some crazy X antibody stuff here. Your turn, once per turn, when one of your effects places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, draw 1. So really great for X antibody decks. Really great, because those decks, they use a whole lot of their hand resources to just place underneath into the Digivolution sources of stuff, and every time you do that, you're diminishing your hand. So Doraemon is like the mandatory baby, I think, in all X antibody decks, to be able to just draw more for all that hand loss that you're having to deal with. And then we got Doraemon here to go with it. I say go with it. You literally have to on play to get this ability, even though he's technically the Evo of the other one. But on play, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 Digimon card with X antibody in its type and 1 Coda. card from among them to your hand. Okay, so we got a searcher for our X antibody deck. Awesome. Like, any deck that can have a card that searches like this is good stuff. It's only revealed top 3. It could have been a little bit better, I think. I mean, it's fairly generic, but you know what? Huckmon is crazy generic, and he reveals, what, top 5? Yeah, so I don't know how this only gets only top 3, but whatever. We do have a nice inheritable, though, so that balances out. Once per turn, when you place a card under this Digimon's Digivolution cards, gain 1 memory. So a lot of these X antibodies, when Digivolving abilities, you know, you get to kind of reduce those because you're going to gain 1 memory back when you do that. So I guess that kind of balances out that it's only top 3. Also, really, really boss alternate art. Really, really digging what we got going on back here, you know? Some nice Alphamon stuff. Next up, we got Monotamon, and this is on play. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 Nightmon or Deadly Axemon in its name among them to your hand. So searcher for our next lineup here of stuff. All kinds of stuff here. We got a Skull Nightmon, 2 Evo cost, level 4 play cost, not too bad. When attacking, you may trash all the Digivolution cards of 1 of your Deadly Axemon, and place that Deadly Axemon at the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards to Digivolve this card into a Dark Nightmon. Wow, that was complicated in your hand without paying its memory cost. So I guess you're going to swing with your Deadly Axemon first, and then swing with your Skull Nightmon to take that suspended Deadly Axemon and throw it underneath this guy to go into the Dark Nightmon. Your turn, while this Digimon has Nightmon or Bagramon in its name, it gains security attack +1, so that's kind of interesting. Let's go ahead and take a look at... you know what? Let's take a look at that Dark Nightmon that we're going to be Digivolving into for free here. On play, okay, that's kind of weird. Why is it on play if we're getting to Digivolve into it for free? You may place 1 Skull Nightmon and or 1 Deadly Axemon from your hand and or trash at the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards in any order. Okay, I mean, it's nice because you're going to get those really nice inheritables, but it doesn't combo with the other effect. All turns, when this Digimon is deleted, you may play 1 Skull Nightmon and or 1 Deadly Axemon suspended that were in this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying the memory cost. Okay, so at least you get some like return value there off of him. But still weird that was on play thing. And then on play for that Deadly Axemon, revealed 5 cards from the top of your deck. Add up to 2 Digimon cards with Nightmon in their names among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in order. And then the inheritable of your turn, while this Digimon has Nightmon or Bagramon in its name, it gets plus 2,000 DP. Okay. I'm not overly impressed, honestly. Also, that Dark Nightmon alternate artwork looks way better. Like, this guy looks super, super short. Just like the way it's drawn, he looks super, super tiny, and this guy looks like super, like a giant almost, you know, so very, very cool. I don't know. So far, not very impressed with that whole lineup. Now we got Grumblemon. This is finally Black's getting their generic hybrid Digimon, and then they do get a new one as well with the 3 Evo cost variant hybrid, and that has blocker. Of course it has blocker. It's black. So I don't like, they're not overly impactful or anything in black. I think it's just nice that they at least have the option to use them in decks. Like, every other color has all these hybrid Digimon. I think it's only fair that they at least get some as well. Sadly, no level 5 for this set. Then we've got Dorugamon or Dorugamon. Opponent's turn, while you have another Digimon in play with X antibody in its traits, or a card with X antibody in its traits is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, which it should be, this Digimon gains blocker. So I don't know, he's level 4 with the potential to have blocker that doesn't have the drawback of -2 memory when attacking. You know, I guess it's okay. I think I'd just rather have something that was a little bit more impactful with X antibody stuff. But again, this set is like X antibody is just starting off. We're going to see a slew of support down the road for X antibody. This is just like the bare bones beginnings of it. And then the inheritable all turns, while this Digimon has X antibody in its traits, it gains 1000 DP. Not even a massive buff. I mean, it's pretty small, and it's on a level 4. Like, the Doraemon here was pretty cool, like a pretty nice include, but the Doraemon not so much. Now we got Doraemon here, and when digivolving, you may put one black card with X antibody in a trait from your hand at the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, like we talked about. That's a lot of what X antibody does. If you do, this Digimon can't be deleted by effects, and its DP can't be reduced until the end of your opponent's turn. Now that is a cool effect. Very cool stuff. So you not only you're going to gain 1 memory, so this basically is a 2 Evo cost, and you get to draw a card because of the baby. Like, that's really cool. So I'm really digging this card for sure. A lot better than the level 4. And then security effect, or inheritable effect, while this Digimon has X antibody in its type, it gains security X +1. And it's nice that it's so generic, just anything X antibody. So it doesn't matter what kind of X antibody deck you want to go in. He's just super generic, and he fits into any X antibody. It doesn't have to be a specific Evo chain or archetype or anything like that. Like, X antibody is as generic of a archetype as it's going to get. And that's really cool, especially, again, like we said, down the road, because there's tons of X antibody support coming in the future. BT9 is just absolutely stacked with it. And then we get their mega here in Dorigoromon, and your turn for each card with X antibody in its trait in this Digimon's Digivolution cards. This Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. When attacking once per turn, you may place 1 card with X antibody in its trait from your hand at the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards to delete up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon with play cost less than or equal to this Digimon's Digivolution cards. So let's think about that. We're going to have a baby, a rookie, an ultimate, and a champion. And then you're going to place 1 with his effect underneath him. That's play cost 5 or less. And if you use the level 5 to stack 1 when it digivolves, that's going to be 6 play cost or less. That's all blockers, all the level 4 blockers, whether it be the 1 cost Evo or the 2 cost Evo, all of them going down with that. So that's very powerful. Also, I just noticed Omnimon over here chilling in the background. That's pretty dope. He should be scared because that's a level 7. But yeah, so that's a pretty good ability right there. So when attacking, you get to use this. So delete 2 of your opponent's Digimon. Ooh. And this is once per turn. So every turn you can place another X antibody and increase the play cost, making him more and more terrifying as you go. So definitely be on the lookout for him. Might be worth picking up some alt arts even, because look at that alt art right there. It looks so good. Definitely stay on the lookout for this guy in the future. I think we're going to see some good things from him. Now we got Ancient Volcanomon, 5 Evo cost. So this is one of those 10 warriors for black. When digivolving, de-digivolve 3, one of your opponent's Digimon, and that's it. And then on deletion, you get to play a tamer for free. 5 Evo cost for just a de-digivolve 3, and there's nothing else. Like, there's not any text after that? Are you kidding me? No, thank you. Even for that massive 13,000 DP, not worth it. Not for that massive Evo cost. There's no way. Jumping down here into black, we've got Kodamon. This is for your X antibody decks here. Start of your turn, he's a memory fixer, putting you up to 3. And then on play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon card with X antibody in its type among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So Davis is so great for blue, right? And green too. He's just been one of those cards that's been played in like every single blue deck ever, because he's a great memory fixer. Green has Mimi, so that's usually their memory fixer they go to. But Davis for blue is phenomenal. Reveal top 3, add a Digimon to hand. That's so good. Any kind of good value like that. And then this is, reveal 4 cards. Now, it's only 1 card, but being able to search from 4, and it's so generic. Just any X antibody. And this is also going to be great in the future, so keep an eye on Coda, because while, yes, he's a black tamer, X antibodies in BT9 stretches across all the colors, okay? So, and he searches any X antibody. No color restriction on that at all. So he's a memory fixer for X antibody decks, whatever color, okay? So just keep that in mind. Very, very cool card. If you ever have any expectation, especially looking down the road at BT9 cards, playing some X antibody, you're going to want your playset of Coda. And what's his rarity? I think it's just a rare. Yeah. So nice holographic rare for sure. Now we got Metal Cannon here. Main, choose one of your Digimon with X antibody in its traits, then draw one card. For each Digimon Digivolution cards. I mean, this can be massive, right? So you do this with your level 6 there. That's got the 5, 6 X antibody inheritables at all from that Evo chain all the way up. This 2 play cost option is going to net you like 5, 6 draws. That's so good. I definitely expect if you're playing those X antibody black decks, definitely a solid like 2 of at least. Very, very powerful card, I think. Again, because you get rid of so many hand resources, you're only going to be able to trigger that baby once per turn. So you got to make sure that you get plenty of replacement off of all that X antibody shenanigans. We got Pride Memory Boost, so another memory boost cost, or another memory boost card. This is a 4 play cost, though, delay gain 2. But main, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play a black Digimon card with a play cost 4 or less among them. Trash their remaining cards, then place this card in the battle area. That's pretty good. 4 play cost, reveal the top 3, and then you get to play a 4 play cost or less. Just a quick look back here at these the black ones here. We got Deadly Axemon and then Skull Nightmon there, just in the level 4s alone. Was there play cost a black Digimon card with a play cost of 4 or less? So if there's a rookie, you can play the rookie. It's not restricted to only level 4s. The idea though is clearly you're wanting to play the Deadly Axemon and the Skull Nightmon, but still 4 play cost to get to reveal 3, play it for free, and then gain 2. Yeah, it's not too bad. Then we got Brave Metal here. Main, delete one of your opponent's Digimon in play with a cost of 6 or less for play cost of 5. I mean, that's not the best overall. I mean, you can like remove some blockers out of your way, like any sort of level 4 blocker. But 5 play cost, I think there's better choices out there. But if you have a Digimon with 5 or more Digivolution cards and X antibody, which will be your Mega, in its type and play, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon without X antibody in its type. I mean, that's gonna be pretty good in most matchups. I think like you need your Mega on field to get this guy to be useful. Might be a good card to like pass turn with after you've done everything, got up into your Mega, swung with your Mega, pray he survived, and then play this guy. But again, if X antibody gets popular, then this card becomes even more dead, because then your opponent's going to have nothing but X antibodies on field, so this card becomes not so great. Now, moving on to purple here, we got Kokoamon for a new baby. When attacking, you can reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, discard 1 Tamer card from among them, return the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck in order. Very interesting. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of use out of this guy, but you never know. We'll get to why that's important when we get down here into the purples, but you do get to play Tamers for free from the trash, so that's kind of like the theory behind that card is the fact that you do that, but I still think that there's better Tamers for purple. We've got a 1 cost Evo Ghostmon here, 5,000 DP. Okay, but no, I'm not going to pay 1 Evo cost for a vanilla rookie. Just not going to happen. Absolutely not. No way. Next, we got Lopmon here, generic rookie. Well, not generic, but 0 Evo, 3 play cost, 2k DP. Inheritable, though, your turn once per turn. When you play a Tamer, gain 1 memory. In the Tamer decks and stuff, that's really good. It's a solid choice for any sort of purple Tamer strategy here, and probably we'll see a decent amount of play. Next, we got the beginnings of the terribleness that is Eismon Scatter Mode. This card's very good. 2 Evo cost, level 4, pretty standard stuff here. On deletion, draw 3, then trash 2. Basically, you're going to go like Demi Meramon into Gabumon into this guy. So it's going to be draw 3, trash 2, draw 2, trash 1, draw 1, trash 1. That's, what is that, 4 cards you're putting in trash. It's crazy. So, and that's what, 3, 5, 6 cards you're drawing. Yeah, that's some really good value, for sure. Like sculpting your hand perfectly, sculpting your trash perfectly, because like we'll see the benefits of like having a lot of things in your trash later, but particularly like again the Tamers and stuff, putting Tamers in trash, like that's really good. Also works really good with like Lilithmon decks, and then you basically want to combo him with the regular Eismon, so the scatter mode dies, you lose your level 4. That sucks. Anytime you're trying to evo up into your mega and you lose your level 4, like crap, that sucks. But then this is when you trash this card from your hand using one of your effects. If Eismon scatter mode is in your trash, you may play this card without paying its memory cost. So you just get tons of draw power and hand sculpting and trash set up in purple, which is always good. And you don't lose anything because of it. You just get this level 4 right back. So you lose a level 4 and you get one to replace it, and you've got all those crazy cards in hand and everything like that. So busted combo. Also, for each scatter mode in your trash, this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP. So with 4 scatter mode in trash, you'll gain 8,000. So putting this guy up to a whopping 13,000 DP. Whoa, that's disgusting. But yeah, so this card does get limited to 1 at the pre-release of BT8. So use it while you can. It is insanely good for purple. Like every purple deck should be running both of these guys at max 4 ofs each. I think I can't think of a deck where you wouldn't want to do that, because it's not like you lose level 4. You just replace it with another Eismon, and with 6 draws and your starting hand and your evos from your rookie and into this guy. I mean, that's going to be 8 draws. If you go second, that's 9 draws. I mean, that's. And then your starting hand, so that's 14 cards. By the time you've gone through 14 cards in your deck, you, in theory, should have at least drawn to 1 Eismon. So yeah, it's very, very good. Next, we got Wendigomon. When Digivolving, you may reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Trash all Tamer cards among them. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So it's kind of weird. It's like, oh, I want to build a hybrid deck and run a bunch of Tamers. Oh, but like Wendigomon isn't a hybrid. He combos great with Cherubimon, which is what the idea of it is. It's just a very weird concept of how, like, I don't feel like he really fits into the overall strategy. But he's kind of interesting. Your turn once per turn. When you play a Tamer, draw 1 card. Okay, so again, we see the combos here: the Lopmons, the Wendigomons, the baby, and everything like that. And now we get our generic purple hybrid, which long awaited. We got teased with him back during BT4 he was teased, and it took all the way to BT7 before we got him. That's some BS, I'm just saying. Then we got Jaeger Leomon, and this is going to be the other hybrid, so you're going to have that 2 evo cost on top of Tamers. When Digivolving, if this Digimon has a hybrid in its form or Koichi in its Digivolution cards, it gains Retaliation. So pretty standard purple stuff there. Same with like black, gain Blocker. I mean, it all makes sense here. Retaliation, sure, I get it. And it's not too bad because, again, you're going to be putting that when he gets destroyed, that Tamer is going to go to trash. Now you're going to have that Tamer in trash, and then you can get some good recycle going on there. Next, we got Antilamon, which I think is a great card. Level 5, 3 evo cost. When Digivolving, you may play 1 purple Tamer card with a play cost of 3 or less from your trash without paying its memory cost. Again, just like recycling those Tamers. So, you're going to discard Tamers, at least discard 1 Tamer early on, especially like a Koichi. I think it's a great target just to set up all these kind of cards. So whether it be the Antilamon or when we get to him, the Cherubimon, just kind of sets up some really good plays there. This is going to be our 1 cost Evo level 5 here when you have the Tamer and the Digivolution sources. And then on deletion, if a card with hybrid in its form is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you may play 1 purple Tamer from your trash without paying its memory cost. Just, oh my goodness. It's like the hybrid package doesn't really work with the Cherubimon lineup, but at the same time it does. It's very, very confusing. It's like, okay, let me go 2 cost Evo into like Loemon, and then I'll go 1 cost Evo into Rihimon. And it dies, and then I just gain back the Tamer that was in the inheritable. But then if I do that, I can't go like into Antilamon to play it for free. Like it's awkward. I think the level 4 hybrids are pretty good, but then maybe combo with Antilamon, I'm not sure. It's definitely a tricky way to build purple for sure. Next, we got Orochimon. When you trash this card from your hand using one of your effects, draw 1. So, you trash him off of whatever discard fodder you need to do. He just replaces himself right back. So even more pluses And then inheritable when attacking once per turn, you may trash one card in your hand to gain one memory. I mean, that's kind of interesting. Not a bad card. There's so many good level 5s in purple. It's hard to fit that one in. Next we got Nidhoggmon, which that's a lot of orange on a purple card. I'm just saying, like, you look at that card, it does not feel very purple-esque just because it's so much orange on there. But still, you may trash this card, or when you trash this card in your hand, using one of your effects, gain one memory. This is a great one. If you only need like your 4 of megas in a deck, and then the rest is just kind of filler, you don't know what to put in there, Nidhoggmon's a great one. Just some random discard fodder and gain you a memory back? Sure, why not? And then if you do need to Digivolve into him, he's only a 3-cost Evo. He's not terrible. And then he has a when Digivolving effect of you may trash one card in your hand to delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Awesome. More blocker hate. Like, oh my god. I don't know. The amount of blocker hate in this set is unreal. If you haven't seen my blockers are bad in BT7 video, go check it out. I actually missed the Nidhoggmon in my list. So yeah, okay. Now we get Ancient Sphinxmon. This is going to be for the hybrids here. This is their massive 5 Evo cost Ancient that they've got. When Digivolving, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 10 warriors or hybrid in its trait. Or one of yours. So you could delete yourself on this 5 Evo cost, deleting this whole Evo chain in its trait to delete one of your opponent's Digimon whose level is less than or equal to the deleted Digimon's level. Oh my god. And then on deletion, you play a hybrid for free. Another really bad Ancient, honestly. Like, that's not good. You have to delete one of your owns to delete something of the same level. Like, come on. I can play what is it? The death one. It's like a 1-cost option to delete one of yours, to delete one of your opponent's like level 4s or something like that. Like, I'd rather play that than play this massive 5 Evo cost, have to Evo all the way up into this sucker before I get the value off of it. No way. I'd just rather play the option there. But here's the real mega of purple for the set. 4 Evo cost Cherubimon, 12,000 DP here. When Digivolving, you may play 1 purple Tamer card from your trash without paying its memory cost. Then for each Tamer you haven't played, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Again, more level 4 blocker hate, but just massive like nuke of your opponent's field. I mean, in a hybrid deck, you're going to be having, typically like 3 or 4 Tamers on your field at one time, being able to pop 4 level 4 Tamers on your opponent, or level 4 Digimon on your opponent's side of the field in a hybrid format where they're pretty much all level 4s. Very, very powerful card. Very, very powerful card. And then this on deletion effect, your opponent's not going to want to delete him. On deletion, for each Tamer you have in play, you may play 1 level 3 Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. It's like, all right, this Cherubimon just keeps getting security check after security check every single turn. We gotta do something with him. Well, we can't remove him off field, because if we remove him off field, we're gonna have to deal with 4 rookies to take his place. Like, ugh, oh my god, he's a pretty good card for sure. Also, a pretty solid artwork as well, or alternate artwork, I would say. For the Tamer here, we got the Koichi. On play, draw 1, then trash 1 from your hand. So again, if you get to recycle him over and over and over, like keep playing him for free out of trash, because he keeps like hybrid goes on top of him, the hybrid dies, and then you get to play him for free again through multiple different ways. Yeah, the draw 1, trash 1 over and over is really cool. And then on deletion, gain 1 memory. Like, a card that's going to perpetually die over and over, which is really sad to think about for this poor kid, especially if you've seen the anime and you know what happens to him. For him just to die over and over is really, really sad. And then on deletion, gain 1 memory. Okay. All right, Leomon in human form. For our options here, we got one of the best options in the entire set. 6 play cost for each Digimon with hybrid in its traits. And Tamer, you have him play, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Not even level 4. Like, wow. That is so good. It is a 6 play cost, a little bit more than some of these other removals, but in a deck full of tamers and hybrids. Like I said, you're going to have, 3 or 4 tamers in play, and then maybe 1 or 2 hybrids on field as well. You play this guy that pops 6 level 5 or lower. Like a lot of these hybrid decks, they like just sitting on their level 5s until they can go into Susanomon. And if they're just going to sit on that level 5 and not go into their a mega because they don't want to build it that way because they think they can rely on Susanomon, just a hint, you can't. Without Mega Digimon Fusion, waiting for Susanomon just to go into Susanomon to pass turn, that's not going to win you games anymore. Okay, you're going to have to run some megas, okay? But yeah, just punish them for that. Punish them so hard with this. This fits in every hybrid deck. Just run Demi-Marimon with Tapirmon and then throw in 4 of these. Yeah, and this works for every hybrid deck. Because hybrid decks, their tamers are their rookies. They don't need to have actual rookies of their color. So yeah, really, really good spicy text for like every deck. I did miss over one here. Calling for the Darkness. I know some people actually really, really dislike this card because they think it's too good. 1 cost, delete one of your Digimon, then return up to 2 purple Digimon cards from your trash to your hand. It is a generic, like, 2 purple Digimon cards, no level restriction or anything like that. That's pretty solid. So could potentially be useful. You do have to delete one of your Digimon, but again, you just pop a rookie, and it's not too terrible, I wouldn't say. But yeah, so pretty interesting card. I know it's played in like one-ofs, add a one-of in a lot of decks. Now we get Ultimate Sacrifice that works into the new Lucymon, but main play 1 purple level 5 Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. If you have 10 or more cards in your trash, you can play a Digimon card from with Lucymon in its name without paying its memory cost instead. So basically, from your hand is what it means. So yeah, you just get this card gets hit in security all the time, and then you just get to play out a Lucymon either from trash, or if you have a 10 in trash, you get to play it from hand for free. Because that's really relevant, because Lucymon is a massive 14 play cost. Like, this thing is so impractical to play on its own most of the time, that you've got to basically run the option if you want to play this Lucymon. But your Lucymon can digivolve into this Digimon, or into this card from your hand with a min cost of 7. If you want to run the yellow ones, you don't even really need to run the yellow ones to run this guy, because his effects are when digivolving and on play. But when you would play this card from your hand, reduce the play cost by 3 for every 10 cards in your trash. Like, you could relatively reliably play this guy for maybe an 11 cost. That's still massive. I would still rather play the option card for 8 than play this guy. And then also the option card lets me play this from trash. So if all that discarding we're doing, that tremendous amount of discard we're doing, getting him just discarding 1 to trash like early game is a solid idea, especially if you have the chance of the option card hitting in security. Having this guy in trash ASAP is very, very essential. So just playing it for free is going to be so good. And then on play, when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon, or one of your opponent's tamers. Having that versatility is so good, especially in a hybrid heavy format. It's going to be really good. Lucymon Chaos Mode, very, very good card. Absolutely. And then just the couple whites here that we missed. We got Nemon here, which is probably the lesser of the 2 whites that we've got. But on play a tamer card with an inherited effect from your hand without paying its memory cost. So all the new ones. So this guy fits in basically every hybrid deck, because you're going to play the new tamers off of him. And then all turns, once per turn, when your Digimon with a tamer in its Digivolution cards is deleted, you may play a tamer card from your trash without paying its memory cost. So that's really cool. I do like that that secondary effect of when that tamer or when that hybrid dies, whatever tamer was underneath them, you just get to play it right back to the field. And I think that's really, really good. Sometimes it does feel a little like slow just to play a tamer to pass turn. Like, okay, I'm putting this card out there. It's not going to get me any sort of value until I digivolve on top of it. But having the Nemon here to just get that constant recycling is pretty solid. And then the on play effect isn't bad. He's only a 3 play cost. You just got to time it right. And then Bokomon, who is like the premier one that everyone plays at 4 ofs in every hybrid deck ever. On play, reveal 5 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 card with hybrid in its form, or 10 warriors in its type. and one tamer. I like that. So you get to add 2 cards. Adding 2 cards is so much better than adding 1. And it's a reveal 5, so you should be able to hit some good stuff. And then add them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So that alone is outstanding for hybrid decks. But also, your turn once per turn. When your tamer digivolves, gain 2 memory. Gain 2 memory. So in most hybrid decks, all those evo cost basically become 0. The regular level 4s on top of a tamer, essentially for most of them, those 2 evo costs become 0. When JP is involved, though, that's a +1. So he's going to reduce it by 1, and then Bokomon's going to give you +2. So Bokomon in a green deck is just straight advantage. Like, oh my god, that's so good. So yeah, green and yellow, or green, yellow, and blue, all 3 are in a really, really good place this format. Also, we can't forget about our new Eosmon. Also, that artwork is gorgeous, by the way. Sad it's only an uncommon. Ah, that's a shame. That would have looked amazing in holo. Like, they should have at least made this a rare. With that much, like, gorgeous coloring, missing out on it being at least a rare. But your turn, all of your other Eosmon get plus 1000 DP. On deletion, you may play 1 level 5 or lower Eosmon from your hand without paying its memory cost. So, you know, in those where you're playing tons and tons of level 5s for free, this is pretty solid. So just buffing all of those by 1000, you know, that's pretty neat. Not like amazing, probably not as good as even the original Eosmon, but still pretty interesting. And then on deletion, just get to play more for free. So that's going to do it. Sorry, we forgot about Susanomon. And Ancient Evolution. So by placing a total of 10 cards from the that are tamers or Digimon cards of hybrid in their form from your hand or trash to the bottom of your deck in any order, you may digivolve this card into in your hand onto your tamer as if that tamer was a level 6 Digimon. So basically, like the red and blue have, your warp digivolving into this level 7. You need a whopping 10 cards though to do that. The ones in trash is definitely the easiest. Blue can still kind of be okay though, even if they're bouncing cards to hand a whole lot. You know, they can still do Susanomon pretty much just as reliably as the other ones, I would say. It's still a big 7 evo cost without Mega Digimon Fusion, making this a 1 cost evo, or if you double it, 0 cost evolution like a lot of people were doing. You know, he's definitely not as good as he was, because you're going to evo into this guy. He's going to have security attack +2, and then he's going to sit there for a turn. Now, when you digivolve, you get to delete one of your opponent's Digimon. That is good. Okay, so you get to clear a threat off the field, but then he has to basically sit there for a whole turn and pray he somehow doesn't get deleted. 15,000 DP, Wyvern's Breath still covers that. Okay, I'm just saying, like, he's not this big end-all be-all like he was in the JP format, simply because he's going to have to sit on field for a turn before he's going to get any sort of, like, really good value. It's just an awkward spot for sure. Still very, very powerful card though. Absolutely. It's still going to be a mandatory in all hybrid decks. I actually won a game because putting 10 cards to the bottom of my deck, my opponent decked out before I did. So, yeah, literally in a long game like that. I was playing yellow, so we had a lot of recovery going on. It was slow, okay? It happens. And then Ancient Evolution here. If you have a Digimon with hybrid in its form, you can use this option card, ignoring its color requirements. So the fact that it's white won't matter. One of your level 4 Digimon can digivolve into one Digimon card in your hand with the same color and with 10 warriors in its type by paying its Digivolution cost and ignoring their level requirements. Not a very good card, because most of those 10 warriors, those ancients that we talked about, are all pretty terrible. And it has to be the same color, so you can't even use this for Susanomon. Like, what a bummer. So not really all that impressed, honestly. So that's going to do it, though. Massive video. If you stay till the end, you are awesome. And, God, I don't even know. Like, thank you. Like, oh, my God. Does anyone make it this far? God, I kind of hope you didn't make it this far.